3:32. First item on the agenda is approving the agenda. Thank you, Amy, for sending out to everybody ahead of time. I think everybody's had an opportunity to review it. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Okay, Lenny, second?
Second.
Greg. Oh, Greg, second. Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Nays? Okay, motion carries. Approval of the minutes of the September 24th, 2020 meeting. Again, Amy, thank you for taking the minutes of the meeting, getting them to me. I reviewed them. I sent them back to you. And I know that you sent it out to everybody ahead of time. Everybody receive a copy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from a previous meeting?
So move.
Okay. It's Kay. Second?
Second.
Melissa, seconded. Any discussion on the minutes? Comments? Corrections? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay. Nays? Okay, motion carries. Very good. Next on the agenda is a public participation. Wow, this is the first time in a long time that we don't have anybody from the public. So,
Well, Joanne's with us.
Joanne's part of our group.
Yeah.
Oh,
In the
right.
library.
Library.
Joanne's private, not public.
So, all right, so we'll move on from public participation. Oakland County Senior Advisory Council, Shanice, what do you have for us?
Hi, everybody. How are you?
Denise.
Hi,
Aye.
Shanice.
Thanks for
Hello.
coming.
Of course. I only have really one update for this week. We're pretty slow, other than obviously everything related to COVID-19, the flu shot, and then the emergency order that is also in relation to COVID-19. So not a ton on my desk today. All I have, which I will forward the attachment, and you all may have heard it in the news already, but it was a press release that came out from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, just clarifying the emergency order that came out. There's been a lot to kind of stray away from politics, but a lot that has happened with the Supreme Court and Governor Whitmer. So Oakland County has kind of done their own emergency order. So I do have a press release that I'll send over to Amy that can go out to everyone, just clarifying masks being worn out in public and capacities in local businesses in the county. So I'll get that over to Amy. And then in my absence last week, I know Amy last month, I know Amy kind of read out my update, but I just wanted to make myself available that if there were questions, because it was a lot in that update around flu shot and EEE, which is a disease carried by mosquitoes, and just a lot of information. So if there were any questions from my update in my absence for last month, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, that's all I have today.
I just have one question as far as COVID testing. Since all the media is saying we're going into possibly a second spike, I know the two health departments, are they still available for COVID testing by appointment? By appointment?
As it stands right now, I have not been informed otherwise. So yes, they are.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any other questions for Shanice? Thank you, Shanice. Appreciate it. And good to see you again.
I hit mute too soon. Sorry about that. Same here.
Thanks. Next item of business, Senior Contact Outreach Initiative. That's still tabled, right, Amy? Okay. At this time, the Recreation Center railing.
Yep, I have an ETA. Measurements were taken on October 5th. Fabrication drawings will be up to 3 weeks from that date. Once fabrication drawings are checked and finalized, material fabrication will be up to 4 weeks from that point. So the 5th, what was that, week ago? So maybe another 6 weeks or so.
All right, so we're looking probably end of November.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. That'd be great if we can get it in before the major snowfalls come. All right.
If we can get into the rec building.
Exactly.
Well, that's a good point, Lenny. Thank you. We are in the middle of a pandemic. I forgot. How can I? Any other questions, comments about the hand railing? Okay, then we'll move forward. UOM report from the subcommittees. The Transportation and Mobility Subcommittee, I do want to report on my section that I'm responsible for was the expansion, a couple of things, expansion of the smart service hours, and then also the fixed route shuttle bus to regional destinations. I want to thank Mary and Jen. Where are you, Jen? There you are.
I'm here.
For meeting with me via Zoom, just to have an initial meeting and discussion about really expanding smart service hours. I did a little bit of homework ahead of time, but as we talked about it, there's a couple of programs, and I think you're all aware of them. One of them is the Community Partnership Program, and that's the program that runs till 3 o'clock. I think it's 7:30 till 3 o'clock or 8:30 to 3 o'clock, yes, Monday through Friday. And that's where our bus drivers drive the buses that we have. Our citizens call in and make their doctor's appointment transportation needs known and get it on a schedule, and it's taken care of. But what also we talked about was the community. I'm looking at my notes here. The community as the connector program, okay? And the connector program is a program that runs 6 o'clock in the morning till 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. And it is actually a 10-mile radius from wherever you're being picked up. So, and it is curb to curb service. And so there is some transportation available to, till an evening hour that is available. But really at this point in time, I don't know how much that's being utilized. There is no transportation offered through the Community Partnership Program or the Connector Program on Saturdays, weekends. Okay.
I did see a connector bus in the woods 2 days ago.
Okay, great. Well, what we agreed to do, Mary and Jen and I, is I'm going to reach out to Danny Whitehouse, who's our SMART representative for our area, and have a meeting of at least the 4 of us to start. If anybody else wants to join, you're more than welcome. To actually ask more questions about the community, actually the connector program, the utilization of it, cost. When I say utilization, I'm really talking about Huntington Woods residents. How many of our residents are actually using that program? And then also, is there an option to actually have door-to-door instead of just curb to curb? So I'm going to reach out to him tomorrow. I just wanted to have this meeting first and try to get that scheduled in early November if he's available. And if you guys are available too, Mary and Jen. Mary, Jen, did I miss anything that you think is pertinent to this particular topic?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. But the door-to-door, I do know that is an option if requested with the Smart Connector bus.
Yeah, I thought I had read that on the SMART website, but I just wanted to confirm it with Danny, that's all.
Yeah.
That's good, okay. Okay, if there's any questions from any of you folks, okay. Claire?
Is the connector bus advertised in like the 60 plus crowd or the newsletter?
Yes, it is. It's actually on page 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't look that carefully, but I never had seen it advertised.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah.
It's got a nice,
Okay.
a very large
Mhm.
article. Very nice.
Got it. Got it. See it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Claire. And then the next item was the fixed route shuttle service. And really what that is about is that a number of folks in the not subcommittees, but from the outreach program from U of M, many folks came forward and said, you know, it'd be nice to have a shuttle to take us to Meijer or take us to Kroger or take us to particular destinations, you know, whatever it is, once a week or twice a week, that type of thing. And I actually thought it was a pretty good idea. And as you know, Jen and Mary and I talked about it more. It's something that I think that is very much worth exploring. And there are communities around us that are actually doing it already, like Berkeley, Oak Park, Royal Oak. So we had agreed that, I think, Jen, you were going to reach out to a couple of them just to kind of get a sense of the structure of their program, how frequently they offer it, those types of things.
I did reach out to them.
Okay.
And since COVID has begun, they've put a stop to that. They were doing it Mondays and Wednesdays, but they also had 4 to 5 buses running. So one bus would take a maximum of, say, 10 people to Meijer, Somerset, or Oakland Mall. And then all the other buses would still accommodate doctor's appointments, going to work, fitness centers, stuff like that.
And actually, that's what we talked about. We talked about if this is something that is implemented in our community, it would be a second driver, our second driver, and one of our additional buses would have to be used because we did not want this type of shuttle service to interfere with our other regular transportation that's already being offered. Is that right, Jen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jen, did any of the destinations indicate that they would help offset any costs? I mean, like a Meijer or a Holiday. I know before COVID, there used to be a busload of seniors that would go to Holiday Market. But did any of the cities indicate that there was a cost offset by the venue?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I think we would basically, as we progressed in our discussion, we wanted to get more information. And when I say get more information, I'm part of that's going to be from other communities. I think as we progress in this, we want to pull together seniors in our community to get more feedback from them in relation to destinations, times, days, things of that nature. And also I'll set up a meeting with that meeting that we have with Danny Whitehouse. This will be something that we'll talk with him about too, because he may have some experience with other communities as well that are doing something similar. So we're obviously, I'm glad you said that, Jen, about COVID. Obviously, this is not something we're going to be offering next month, but we might as well do the groundwork now to hopefully eventually implement something like this when the community opens up and things are safer.
And then maybe you can also, as you're doing that, maybe you can also check with the Meijers or this or that, if they could subvent the transportation or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that those are all the things, Glennie, that we need to find out, definitely.
Jim, I just got a text from Greg saying he just got knocked out of the meeting.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm the last person to know what to do about that.
You should be able to rejoin.
Yeah, he can rejoin.
Yeah.
So should I just text him, rejoin?
Yeah, just tell him to click on the link and come back in. Amy will let him in.
Click on link.
If he doesn't have the link, I can also invite him. I can send him an email.
Click on link again.
While you're doing that, Lenny, any questions from our, Senior Advisor Committee or anybody else in relation to what we're working on here?
Oh, Amy and I spoke. As far as the lights, the LED lights, we're still waiting on DTE. And so, you know, it's not, it's still in process. Just put it that way. But we are definitely, as a city, looking at improving the lighting on the city streets. But we're waiting on DTE.
Very good. I think that was what we had in relation to mobility and transportation, our subcommittee for this particular meeting.
Right.
I'd like to hand it over to this, social and community services subcommittee. You guys for just an update on where things are at with you. Whether that be Chris.
Lenny, that's you.
Lenny.
Okay. I apologize. I missed the last meeting. I just got texted from Greg again. What the heck? I'll keep trying. I did about 6 times.
I just sent him an email with the link.
Okay, check your email. Check your email. Okay. All right, I just told him to check his email. So, I screwed up on the last meeting and I apologize to everybody. All the notes that I had scribbled to everybody, when I tried to read them myself, I had a lot of difficulty and it's my writing. So it was a little convoluted and I tried to straighten all that up. And I appreciate all the help from Mary getting this together. So hopefully everybody has it. There's 3 separate sets. The first one is this lifetime analysis. I tried to model it after this one that that we started with, that Chris made originally. So not being very well, not being that good at getting things so organized, I got into 3 categories. Shorter time frame, lower cost, medium time frame, lower cost, and then long time, higher cost. But the big thing, if you can look at that, there's some things that we can do pretty much right away, pretty much in the short term. It just needs some refinement. The dedicated phone line, Mary, I think you said Jen's got a number that could really be that dedicated phone line number.
Well, Jen has a phone line right to her desk, as all of us do. But I did find out that we are able to set up a second phone line if needed to direct people for information. So that can be done also. Okay.
So does that include also a email link or whatever? What's this link stuff? There's a dedicated link. Is there such a thing? Or is there you have a dedicated phone? Is there a dedicated link too for people online?
I'm not quite sure exactly what you want it to link to or if it'll provide information. I mean, that we'll have to figure out how you want it to work, but a second line can be available.
Well, I think figuring that out is a great concept because I don't understand how this link stuff works, but it seems like people just kind of punch in and all of a sudden they're on this space and somebody should be able to respond. I guess that's what it's like a dedicated phone. You got to answer the phone, a dedicated link, you got to answer the link, right?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe perhaps, Chris, can you clarify how you foresee that working or?
I'm getting confused by what you're referring to, Lenny, when you say link. Are you talking about website address or?
Like an online presence is like a telephone is a hardcore thing. I understand that, but there must be some kind of computer way that people can go to get a pertains right away from for issues or concerns that they have pertaining to seniors.
Yeah, that's different than a phone.
You mean outside of the city's website, Lenny, or?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that would be the question, whether or not we can build it within the city, what we'd want to do within the city's infrastructure, or if it's something we'd have to build on our own outside it.
I don't want to get real hung up on this because I don't even understand what I'm saying, because I don't know how links work. But there can be a dedicated program for people to go by phone or by computer to get help, to get information, to get if they're in distress, what have you.
If I'm understanding correctly, Lenny, it's kind of like when you go online and you're talking to like DTE or Verizon or whatever, and there's a person you can type to right away and they respond. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be like calling somebody, or thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so wanting to create this dedicated connection so people can, for seniors. This PDF, I forgot what PDF stands for, but it's some kind of a file about people. I think maybe there's no answer. Maybe PDF is just like the ABCs of the world. I don't know, but I imagine, from what you were saying, Chris, it's a way that you can get two-way connection. People can share information about themselves, and that can be used by the senior dedicated professional that we'll have to help a person if they have some concern. And it's like a reference that it's their birthday coming up, or or other issues that they may have had, or they're looking for a buddy, or they're looking for a phone buddy, or what have you, that it would be there in this PDF file that with their permission could be used for others, with other seniors in Huntington Woods.
So, Amy, is it easy for you to let me share my screen, or is that a real problem?
If you just make his name a co-host, then he'll easily be able to hit the share the screen button.
It says host disabled participant screen sharing. So I don't know if it's too much of a hassle. That's no problem. If it's
if you go to participants, Amy, like the participant list, you should just easily be able to hit make co-host.
I did make him a co-host, but I disabled a bunch of stuff after our Zoom meeting. So I do not know.
Well, Chris, are you asking to have folks be able to look at this document that you did?
Yeah, well,
I think it's outstanding as a start.
It's what I sent out.
Chris, you should be able to do it now. Chris, you should be able to try it now.
Okay, great.
Oh yeah, I can. Cool.
Okay.
And Chris, if you also, you guys could give like a high level overview of each kind of like section, in terms of the. I'm not gonna take much time here, but I know, and it's still in a very embarrassing stage, and it's because I don't understand the technology, and I'm sure there are better programs to do it. But this was the idea of we constantly have been talking about, we would like to gather more information from people, and at the same time, when Lenny, Melissa, and I were really digging into this, and I think to extent the transportation committee and talking to Jim too, is like there's so much already out there. And I think the 60 Plus newsletter is fantastic, but it only goes out 2 times a year. And so if somebody's thinking in the middle of the year that they need something, are there ways we can also get information out to people? And so this was kind of in my mind as a way to kind of think about something that could accomplish both get information and give information. And what this is a form and so forth, but in my mind, it would be very high level information here. So if somebody's not interested in something, they can just quickly skip over it. But if they are really interested in something, say, they're interested in the check-in calls and pickleball, when they would click pickleball, then it'd get into more detail here. Are you interested in the indoor pickleball or pickleball with students? And you could check both. And then in my
my dream, this would be a fancy PDF, which I think we could still create. Right now, it's just kind of a web page here that you could print. It would be like, okay, you're interested in check-in calls. Well, here's information about kind call. Or you're interested in indoor pickleball. Here's indoor pickleball. Or pickleball with NORP students. Well, here's Lenny's phone number that you can call. And it would be a very, in a perfect world, also, it would be very easy in the back end to continuously update, so that, you know, we could have library programming. And then if you're interested in like technology education, or you're interested in the art or field trips or stuff like that, when you do this, it would be, you know, a continuously updatable type of thing. And we also gather the information about what people are interested in, and would have their names connected to it, and have, you know, a phone number, email address, or whatever we'd put up here to be able to push that information and communicate out with it. Like, I'm not convinced that this is the right technology. This is just me trying to put something in a demonstratable form to try to kind of communicate the idea, which I don't know if it's of interest or even useful. But that's in my mind when we were talking as a committee, as a way to kind of get information out to people that is very specific to what they're interested in, whether they're 50 or 85, a kid, a neighbor, whatever it may be, that's just trying to help out, or Jen or us calling somebody, whoever it is, just trying to get relevant information out to the people who need it.
What I'm seeing, what you have, Chris, is what in my convoluted thinking was really that's capturing it. and I understood that this was something that people can fill in through the senior contact initiating contact person from the city, but then the city maintains that file, okay, for the person, and they're able to share that. And there's a whole series of, the second thing I have was a whole series of questions that I just threw together. It's not like written in stone, but these are all kinds of things that could be helpful. So that your file, the Jen, whoever is going to, if we need another full-time person, return Jen into just a full-time person for what we're doing, that's a whole nother story. But the professional from Huntington Woods can build on these files for people and then connect them with the appropriate thing, like you're saying. So yeah,
let me comment on it, okay, Lenny?
Yeah.
What I kind of see with something like this, Chris, Lenny, and your committee, is that you have, we all experience this very same thing on a daily basis already. There are programs out there that you put in what your preferences are in terms of information that you want to receive. And what happens is that since you've already, then that gets collected in a file somewhere by that particular company. And then all of a sudden you get continual updates on, okay, pickleball, that was your interest. Well, there's an update that automatically goes out to all the people that checked that because that was their interest. The dates have changed, the cost has changed, the hours have changed, those types of things. You could, so it's not necessarily like a Jen that would be sending all that information out, but if you have a software program that can collect all that type of information, make it automated, and then there would be somebody at the city level that would update information in the system that, and then once that information is updated in the system, you hit a button and it goes out to all those people that had signed up to say, yes, that's what I'm interested in. That's the information I'm interested in, and they'll get it. And then other people won't, because that's not their interest. Their interest may be HARP or something else, transportation.
Jim, I have a question, which is, are we duplicating efforts? Has there been any contact with the communication committee? Because, you know, it almost seems like I don't want to duplicate. I would just like to be able to augment what the communication committee is doing, what we're doing. And additionally, I think this is a marvelous outreach just to the entire citizens of Huntington Woods. Yes, we're certainly looking at the best interest of our seniors, but also it would help to be inclusive, I think, of all of our people, because one of the things that became so crystal clear to me when we moved back here was that there was such dissension within the city about the exercise equipment. And it just was really amazing to me, because I had lived here 28 years. I was gone over just a year, and suddenly the city atmosphere had changed, and I was actually astounded. But I would love to see our committee and Lenny's group, which, by the way, is outstanding. Lenny, take a bow. And Chris, you're brilliant. I would love to see them talk with the communications committee, so that in actuality, yes, we target the citizens that are seniors. Down the block from us, Jim, as you know, we have a 102-year-old, Virginia. But we also outreach to other citizens and find out, take the pulse of our community, because our community and what is happening now in the world is kind of crazy, guys. Between COVID, the politics, kidnapping the governor, Amy, Ron Paul is safe. But it's just a crazy world. And so Huntington Woods is a unique community. It's small, it's so inclusive. It is just a marvelous community, which is why we left Florida and came back here after just a little over a year, because we miss this place so much. So I would like to see Lenny, Chris, Melissa, if she's still here, I would like to see you guys reach out to the communication subcommittee and see what we can do, not just for the seniors, but for the entire community. Because I think we need to be building bridges at this point, because there are so many obstacles in the world today, health-wise, politically, economic. We haven't seen the free fall of the economy yet, and that's coming. So I really would like to see us as a committee be proactive with the seniors, but proactive and inclusive with everybody in this community, because I'm very fearful of what could potentially occur next year. All right, thank you. I'm gonna go get some more lemonade and I'll shut up.
I will just briefly say that I agree with all three of your points. Jim, that is part of my vision, is that you'd almost have an account that you can maintain this, and then you push it out as you need to go in an ideal world. And right. and Kay, I agree with you too. There's nothing special about this that is 60 plus. Like, it could be right. useful to anybody of any age in the programming for the community. I got to think something like this exists. I mean, I did some Google searching and stuff like that. I couldn't readily find it, but I can't imagine we're the only community in the world that has, thought of something like this. But I just haven't personally seen it.
Well, when U of M did their study, they did a comparative to our city to much larger cities. And so it had a different flavor, shall we say. So yes, Chris, I'm sure there might be something out there, but what we'd have to look at is something that has a similar size and demographic to us in Huntington Woods, because we are, I like to say we're a very unique, and having lived 15 months in Florida, and that when I left here, I had very dark hair. 15 months in Florida has turned me Snow White. But, I think that what we'd have to seek would be something that would be comparable to our size and our demographic.
Well, I think that there's two issues. One of them is the size of our city, and that's one issue. And not only that, are other cities doing this? But the other part of that is this available out there? Yes, it is. it's available in some way, shape, or form to do this because it's already being done. We're all, I mean, if you're online a lot and you belong to certain things, you're getting automatically generated emails all the time about information that is pertinent to what you have an interest in. So at a high level, yes, that's out there. Are other communities doing it? I don't know. I'm guessing probably at some level. How would it fit for our community? I'm not really sure at this point. I mean, there's so much work to be done in sorting that out. You know, and in communication committee, I think it's important to have that intercommittee dialogue about what are they working on, because I don't know if they're thinking about something like this. Maybe they are. No. Okay. So,
no. Well,
yeah,
Amy, what are they communicating?
Right now, they put together a communication survey. In fact, it went live today and it'll be promoted in tomorrow's e-blast, but it's a 9-question survey to ask people, what kind of information do you want from the city? How do you currently get it? And how do you prefer to receive it?
So it's not asking anything that would be duplicative of what Chris is proposing.
No, I think with Chris, what would be helpful is to take baby steps and to roll this out for a very specific demographic and work out the kinks, see how it works, and then see if it can be expanded to, you know, other parts of the community. But before we try to get to all 6,300 people and ask them what they need, let's start with the ones that would be the most vulnerable, perhaps have the greatest need, and see how successful it is.
Oh, I completely agree.
Kay, I agree with your concern for the city and the world, basically. And
well, we're not going to do the world, Lenny.
Yeah, but
the postage would be too much.
Even the whole state, but I was assuming and I was understanding that our mission was to focus on senior citizens, on 70 plus, 68 plus, whatever the heck, 60 plus, whatever the number is, for our seniors. And I was hoping that we could use this technology that Chris was referring to, but make it more personal, so that when it's your 70th birthday, you get a call from the Huntington Woods professional liaison contact person and that person says, hey, it's your birthday, happy birthday, greetings from the city. And try to engage people for a few minutes and wish them well. And could there be another time I could call you and get a little idea of the things you're interested in, or this or that, or blah, blah, blah. And then that goes in their profile. We were talking also about creating a senior citizen buddy system. So people who are more active could buddy up with people who are less active. It doesn't necessarily have to be a senior citizen. It could be a student really who could be a buddy.
Right.
But it could also be another senior. And that could be coordinated by the professional contact person from our city. They could also, that professional person could also gather volunteers to help with this in whichever way a person might need it. I think after your 70th birthday, every year, there should be a phone call made to a senior person on their birthday, say, hey, happy birthday, it's us again. You know, it's your city, we love you. We just want you to have a great day. Is there anything that's changed, you know? And that leads us to, those kinds of things lead us to this guideline to work with over time. I said about, you know, questions that people could fill in, whether they're retired, whether they volunteer, what kind of work they did, blah, blah, blah. There's a whole zillion things that really needs to be codified to put into Chris's project, so that we have this real file that's very personal to this person, and that the city professional liaison can get back to people, or have volunteers to get back to people and see that they're being touched. I also think an easy thing that could happen is for the city of Huntington Woods to commit to be age friendly, that there's a resolution passed per the guidelines of the World Health Organization and AARP, whatever they are, and that we create a Senior Citizens Huntington Woods Older American Month. My guess is it should probably be sometime in better weather, So we can do stuff outside if no one can go inside a building. But that we can tailor that to our people and our town. I think we need some kind of a hard copy newsletter, kind of like the 60 plus crowd that just got fax information for older people that they can keep a copy of and it can be updated easily. The kind of thing that we were going to pass out a few months ago that already became dated. If there's some way to create some mechanism to share that with people, I think for older people, a lot of them still keep it in a spot.
Lenny, did you see the 60 plus? Because just toward the end, look at all this information. It's phenomenal.
I know, it's great. I think it gets lost in our magazine. I think there needs to be a separate thing for people to have.
Okay.
Along with the dedicated line about and re-going over everything that we keep doing, because as people get older, they get a little more scattered, a little less remembering of everything, and it needs to be just those kind of things. The 60 plus is great. I love the 60 plus, but for the special stuff that they really need to have access to, who to call, where to go. I think that's really important. I don't think everything's got to be duplicated. I mean, we can incorporate stuff. I don't have a hard sense of it has to be this way or that way at all. I think we can develop some kind of skills, acquisition of skills or a training program for seniors where they could either lead an activity or participate in an activity. I think we need to develop a series of safe spots for seniors, senior safe spots. If they're out and about, a sign in the window like the schools have with a teddy bear in the window. If there's a kid that needs help or this and that, he can always go to a house that's got a teddy bear in the window and we kind of screen it, set it up, whatever. But maybe we do it for seniors. So there's a place, if they run out of gas, figuratively or literally, there's a sign in the window that says senior safe spot. I know I can knock on this door. And that becomes, it's kind of like having a safety captain on a corner, only for seniors or dedicated towards seniors. I think our professional contact person ought to have some kind of relationship with discharge planners from hospitals and rehab centers, care centers, to just let them know that we care about our people. And here's all the different programs we have, and here's all the different things we have, and just wanted you to know about that. And we should be contacting them regularly so that our seniors who have had some kind of physical problem, we can get to them, or they know they can refer them to us for help with their garbage cans or the snow or leaves or what have you. Simple stuff, or HARP. I think there's a lot of kind of things like that. I think creating an Older Americans Month for us is something that could be a lot of fun. And we have a whole month of calendar of events. It's all kind of written down here. I don't need to go through it. Just take a look at it and think about it. And I think we need a Hall of Fame for seniors. I think it's a great thing. I found in the library once in the basement some pictures of the ice skating rink, which I think is where the Civic Center is now, the Rec Center is now, was from 1954. And it was so cool. And there were all these Huntington Woods people. And it was just like, wow, this is so cool. I think there needs to be a Hall of Fame. I think every year we should have, awards, the men's club, the women's league, all the garden club, whoever, they can nominate a senior of the year. And I think there should be plaques that names keep getting put on. And I think there can be a dedicated wing of someplace somewhere, whether we build this brand new building that's going to be knock everything down and build this huge complex, then it can be in there. But in the meantime, it could be somewhere. It could be in the rec center somewhere where seniors can kind of go and look and say, yeah, wow. I mean, the whole city can see, hey, here is the Senior Citizens Hall of Fame for Huntington Woods. It's not a great cost to this, but I think people have been honored and people do things, and it's fun to see your friends and neighbors there and being remembered. And I think it gives some value to people. I think medium time frame, we need to have somebody. I got so many ideas here. It would make Jen, she'd have to work 36 hours a day. And that's not fair. But I think we need somebody, if we could get somebody dedicated to just doing things with seniors, I think it'd be a big boost. The long time frame thing is what the University of Michigan people laid out, which I think is brilliant. And I think, I thought our committee was supposed to somehow help re-educate the community or something. I don't know what we're supposed to do with this, but it's too good an idea to let it die. It was a great project. They graduated, they got their credits, blah, 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 but they got great ideas for this city. And if we're going to be aging, and we know we are over the next 10 or 20 years, and the goal was how do we do more for our aging community, this is a great project. And I don't know what the mechanics are, who to take it to, who do we talk to, but we should be pursuing this, I think, if people agree. Because the welcoming corridor and the vibrant core, these are great concepts. They would really add a big plus to Huntington Woods. It could be win-win. At any rate, the last file I had was how to expand the position that Jen has, all the things that she currently has to do, and all these additional things that another person or that she could take on with help from other people. But I think there's a lot of things there, and I don't really know how to continue this, where to go with this, what to do, and I'm all ears.
Well, I agree that we're here to help the seniors, being one. I know you're much younger, Lenny, but
I'm 39.
And you look good. Amy, I have a question for you. What would it take to be able to send out the 60 plus, which I personally think is a phenomenal document, more than twice a year? I know you indicate they're sponsors. What would it take to solicit more sponsors to be able to do it, quarterly? So it's an economic issue.
Is it every 2 months, Mary?
Yeah,
it comes out every 2 months. This last time it was, I think, 3 months.
Right.
So I think
so it is out more frequently than twice a year, because I think it's a phenomenal document.
It's great.
If you look on the cover of it, it says the months that it is for.
Right. It's for October, November, December.
Yeah, and before that, it was every 2 months.
Right.
Okay. All right. And then you're also going to be able to get it online if you want to, but it goes out to every home?
Yes.
Outstanding. Okay. So we should certainly look at this as an opportunity for communication also. If it goes out every 2 months, it can be updated frequently. So this needs to be seen as just a phenomenal opportunity for us to be able to communicate with seniors and obviously with the whole city, since it goes out to everybody.
So, Lenny?
Yes, sir.
I think I'm going to try to answer your question the best that I can, because based on my experience, anytime you're trying to create a new position, there's a challenge in there. One of the challenges is money to pay for that position. The other challenge is defining really what the duties of that particular person is going to be. I think probably what would be beneficial, if you haven't already done this, and maybe you already did, is to separate out what Jen is already doing, all the things that she does, and her daily, weekly schedule, and maybe other things that are being done by somebody else other than Jen that may be on the list, and then separate out all the things that you and the committee think would be additionally beneficial to the seniors in our community that are not being done right now because we don't have the resources. And so, I mean, that would be a start. And then saying, okay, then you have to justify, okay, why are these things that are not being done, how are they going to be useful to our population here? You know,
okay, so
you're creating an argument. You want to create an argument for why we need these things and why we need an additional person or additional half-time person, whatever time it is. You have to create the argument for it. What is the need, and so forth.
So I appreciate that. And the middle document that I sent out is the potential expansion of the Huntington Woods Senior Outreach and Transportation position. And I went through the job description at our meeting, and Mary was so helpful. And I listed all the things by daily, weekly, monthly, seasonally, annually. And there's a list of all those things that Jen's already doing. And I know she's busy. And there's proposed additional things that we're talking about that some other person would help or do or would recreate the job, whatever. So I guess I need help, or I need everybody's suggestions and feedback, especially Jen and Mary, how to handle, how to incorporate, or any of these things already being done by somebody else, because that I don't know, you know.
And that's the part of this, and that's part of the work of the subcommittee, really, is to do that drilling down further, because our larger committees, you know, not going to be able to do that today.
Right.
You know, and Amy, I'm going to put you into this mix too. I would include Amy in that discussion too, because I'm sure she's going to be able to provide some good guidance as well in relation to, you know, from a process standpoint, how to move forward with defining what is needed, what's not needed, you know, how to justify something that, and so forth.
I'm good with that.
I mean,
hey, Lenny,
Chris, are you good with that?
Lenny, I just wanted to let you know that obviously I don't reach everybody, but if I am aware of it being somebody's birthday, I usually do try to either send an email, a phone call, or even a card in the mail. Obviously I don't get to everybody, but you know, I try with that. And I think that's a good idea. I think all of your ideas are good. I like the Hall of Fame for seniors and the plaque with the names on it for the senior citizens for each year. I mean, you have really good ideas. So feel free to come to me directly with them too.
Great. Then maybe the best thing is in the short term, like in the next week or so, you and I get together and look at this middle document, and then we share that. I'll share that with Chris and Melissa, and we'll run with it some furthermore.
Okay, I'd be willing to do that.
Great. Great. Thank you, everybody.
You're welcome.
And if anybody has comments on any of this stuff, please call me. Don't email me. Or email Jen or Mary.
So Shanice, you're leaving?
She has a 4:30.
Okay.
I can't get off mute fast enough. I have a 4:30, so I'll be hopping off really shortly.
Drive fast.
Thank you for joining.
It's just a switch over from one Zoom to the next.
Take care. Thank you.
Thanks, Jenny.
Okay. Anything else, Chris, Melissa, anybody else wants to add in relation to this? Okay.
I think it makes sense that we meet with Jen next and kind of figure out some good steps going forward.
Okay.
Probably have to do it on Zoom.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's getting too cold to sit outside.
Yeah. Item number 7, agenda item 7, project updates. I know the senior student interaction's been tabled to further notice.
Yeah, and one thing on that, you know, we had spoken about maybe getting one leaf raking done, and we almost had it, and then the school board took away the free day for the kids from Norup, which would have been next week, and it's a school day. It's not a half day off, so that fell apart.
Well, I
Next year.
definitely appreciate all the effort that you and everybody was putting in to try to get the communication and get that together. So
Almost had it.
I know. HARP and concierge program, Mary, Jen.
Well, we really haven't had any calls for that. A couple seniors have called about snow removal, and I think Jen's probably had some too. Yeah. And I did come up with a name of an individual through Nextdoor, whose name we could give out as somebody to potentially call. And then just the other day, and I haven't mentioned this to you, Jen, I noticed on Nextdoor, somebody posted about app Shovel. It's an app, and it's somebody from Huntington Woods has used it. It's like a one-time deal. As you need it, you don't sign up with a contract for the season. When you need it, you activate the app, and you can set up a time to have somebody come. I'm going to pursue it more, but it might be something some seniors that are able to use their phones might be able to use this service too. And the person was very happy with the service. I don't know anything about
what's it called? App?
Shovel.
Shovel?
SHOVL. Shovel. Yeah. So that might be another option.
That's great.
Interesting. Thank you.
I just want to say that the calls that I have had, you know, regarding HARP that I haven't shared every single time with Mary. Sorry about that, but I am still directing them to Derek Volkers, who has been amazing with the seniors. I've had only good feedback about him. So he's been incredible.
He's a good guy.
Good, thank you. How about the rec center and library reports?
Okay, well, as you were talking about the 60+ crowd, I think it was an exceptional issue that went out this last time with all these resources for seniors. Jen worked really hard on getting it together, and Colette worked hard also. And I think it's a good direction to stick with as we put out additional issues. Also, we used an index in there so people could find things easily. I think it made it a little bit easier. We do have a Zoom class coming up tomorrow. It's a free Zoom class, and I think there's about 10 people that are registered for it to learn how to use Zoom, people that don't have a clue on what to do. So we have that class is coming up. Flu shots were yesterday. 90 people got them. It was interesting. It was mixed. It was almost 50-50, over 65 and then below that. Jen helped out amazingly. She really checked everybody in and did a great job. And we have another one coming up October 28th. So we're hopeful to service another 90 people.
Wow.
Or more. We could have taken more. So it was very successful.
That's great.
And Colette is working on activities too. Bingo's coming up and some other activities for our seniors, as well as a holiday lunch. We're still taking names for the holiday lunch. And we've gotten a few more, but we're going to keep putting the blitz out there on the boards, signboards and things.
What do you have so far, Mary?
29.
How many?
29.
Oh, there you go.
Good, good.
I forgot to mention this before, but just an FYI for everyone, along with that Shovel app, GoGo Grandparents is doing meal delivery. You can do like meal delivery or grocery pickup and stuff like that too. So just another service for people who are signed on for them. It can be another referral. Jen,
right.
yeah.
That's good to know.
That's all for me.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think Mary covered everything I was going to say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah.
Joanne?
Yes, so, next Wednesday, we will be having Robert Cass, who is a local resident, and he's going to be talking about his book that he wrote based on some of the people who disappeared in Argentina back in the 60s and the 70s. So that should be pretty interesting. And then there is another craft with Jane is doing another craft on November 11th. So we do have a couple of things that people can sign up for. Of course, the class or both presentations will be Zoom presentations.
Very good. Thank you. Our next meeting is scheduled for November 19th. That works for everybody, right? Because the following Thursday is not going to work.
Was that Thanksgiving?
Yeah, yeah. My favorite holiday.
Me too.
Okay. So other business. I just had a question for you, Amy. I know that Sue Tanner put in an application, and I did have email communication with the mayor, and I just wondered if anything developed in setting up future interviews for folks to fill the vacancies.
Yeah, I think we're going to try to do the seniors in November and the interviews for the other committees in December.
Okay,
but we've also got another application from Bonnie Nowakowski today.
Yeah, I heard that Kay was walking down door to door soliciting people. So.
Only older people that had to be home and were retired. So yes, I was going door to door.
And then I've tried to reach everybody. I just wanted to, I was not successful in doing that, but I just wanted to share that I'm stepping off the committee at the end of December. I've been on it for, I think it'll be 8 years. At the end of 8 years, it'll be going into year 9. So I think it's time to give somebody else an opportunity to step in and, fill that spot. So, plus I've got some personal things that really require my attention as well. So,
well, I'll definitely be missed.
Oh God, yes. Well, but for any of you folks, Jim only lives 2 doors down from me, and on Devil's Night we're going to TP his house. We're going to TP his house. But I will be putting up political signs for folks who want to run for chair. And just in case. And Chris, I'll put up a sign for you. You're young, you can handle it.
I'm really proud of what we've been able to accomplish over the course of the 8 years I've been on the committee. I certainly will say this, it's a process, and we're certainly more active and busy as a committee than we were when I started. So all the things that we're talking about and doing are fantastic. Some of them won't come to fruition, but there's going to be certainly more available to our older adults in this community than there was, 8 years ago, or down the road 10 years. And I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying in the city. I'm going to be available to help with things, and I will make sure that whatever I'm working on, I'm going to be bringing people in to make sure there's a smooth transition, and I'll still stay connected with what's going on. So, but I just wanted to make sure. Melissa, I tried to get a hold of you today, but I was not successful.
Yeah, what a loss for the committee.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
10724 Lincoln. Just come here around 9:30 on the 30th, and bring toilet paper.
That's your address, right?
Yes, but we're going to yours.
You realize this is being recorded and sent to public safety, right? So
Perfect. That's
Jim,
perfect.
I wanted to say that we really appreciated your leadership. You've been there for people. You've been so kind, so helpful, and we'll miss you very much.
Thank you.
Miss you very much. And we wish you well.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So, 2 more meetings though. I mean, I'm not going anywhere for a couple months. So, but I just wanted to let folks know ahead of time. So, and yeah.
Other business. Is this a time? I reread the minutes from August 20th. And there's a reference there from Jeff Jenks about Senior Advisory Committee joining with the Library Advisory Board or with the Parks and Rec Board to look at some shared program or something. I didn't know what that was all about. I don't remember that. But I just, it seems like it says in the notes that Jim said it's likely new subcommittees will work with both boards. We haven't done that to my knowledge. I don't know what the gist of that was, or is that just Commissioner Jenks just had a thought for the moment? Or
I don't have that in front of me, Lenny, but what was the comment again?
Commissioner Jenks suggested a joint SAC Parks and Rec Advisory Board meeting and a joint SAC Library Advisory Board meeting in the future when programming and services can be discussed. Jim said it's likely that the new subcommittees will work with both boards and the Communication Committee as they pursue the recommendations from the University of Michigan Amenities and Lifestyle Report.
Right, right. Well, so my thinking was when I said that was that as we're working on certain initiatives, we're going to have to talk to other boards or committees in our community, like the Communication Committee, to make sure that we're all moving in the same direction, and also not duplicating efforts. So that was kind of in line with what Kay was saying earlier in the meeting, is that, you know, we need to bring them into the fold. I mean, if they're working on a communication issue in relation to transportation, that's something we should be talking about as a committee with them too. That's what it was in regard to. Any other business?
I just wanted to mention one thing. I still am doing telephone reassurance calls daily. So calling seniors every single day, even on the weekends.
How many days? So, how many calls are you making?
Well, there are 2 calls that I make every single day to this 2 people. And then I do anywhere between, I want to say like 8 and 12 a day, because some of them are very lengthy. I'm on the phone sometimes with one person for over an hour. Okay. So it just depends.
Yeah, COVID loneliness.
Yeah. So, and I mean, I don't mind it at all. I enjoy the conversation, but I just wanted to add that that's still taking place too.
And there could be more people who need that kind of support.
Yeah. And if you guys know of anybody that I need to reach out to that I might not be, getting, please let me know.
Well, Jen, the other thing is perhaps there, because Lenny's group had said, senior to senior kind of support. Mm-hmm. And maybe we could get, because I have no idea how long this COVID thing's going to last, and the isolation of seniors and probably their fear related to the COVID, maybe we could start to get, other seniors calling them.
I think that would be nice.
Yeah, and because Lenny, that was something that you had suggested, was sort of like a senior to senior buddy system. And maybe we can start to build something like that now, that is just sort of phone, but it's a contact. And a senior can certainly understand, pardon me, this is a dog that's blind. He was horribly abused, and he wants his mother. Unfortunately, he doesn't know I'm a human, not a dog. But yeah, maybe we could begin that process of starting that now, Len, as far as a senior to senior buddy kind of thing.
I have a couple of senior to senior buddy calls going on right now, but I would love to increase that.
Okay, well, let's try and reach out and see if we can get more seniors that can call seniors and you know, talk, so that maybe you don't have to spend an hour. But, you know, maybe that's something that, you know, as I said, Lenny, that was something you put in your suggestions or your information. I think it's a great idea, especially now with COVID.
Yeah, I agree.
Good idea. Okay. Any other business from folks? All right, so we will adjourn.
Jen,
4:43.
Jen, Mary,
Yeah.
and of course, Amy, can you folks stay on for just a second to talk about that luncheon thing?
Sure.
And the rest of you guys can go or stay,
Thanks.
whatever.
Okay.
But this is not, this is outside the meeting.
Okay.